There is no passion to be found in playing small, in settling for a life which is less than the one you are capable of living. So with this quote, today I would like to introduce our guest, Mr. Lokesh Gautam. So he has completed his B.Tech or graduation from Netaji Subhash Institute of Technology, NSIT. After that, he did his M.Tech in VLSI from Delhi Technological University. And after that, he started his career with Qualcomm, so which is also our topic for the day, and I need not to introduce Qualcomm. Okay, so he worked in Qualcomm for 1 year, and after that he left his job. Now he has been selected recently in Delhi Technological University as an assistant professor. So first of all, I would like to congratulate Mr. Lokesh Gautam for this achievement.
So first of all, I would like to thank Vaishali for having me on your channel.
When an EC student enters the college, he has the dream to work in one among the best companies like Qualcomm. So when you get this opportunity to start your career with Qualcomm, then the first question is, why did you plan to leave this job?
Actually, the reason behind leaving Qualcomm was that actually corporate job was never my cup of tea. I always wanted to enter into teaching job, and on the top of that, if you get an opportunity to be an assistant professor in some renowned university, so that's a cherry on cake. So a person like me won't be leaving that opportunity. So that's the reason I left Qualcomm.
Okay, Lokesh, so now this is a tough question for you. What is the best experience or learning you gained in the transition time from Qualcomm to DTU?
Actually, the transition time between Qualcomm to DTU was not really a cakewalk, because for an exam like assistant professor post, you have to go through a rigorous process, because it's not a one-stage process; it's a multiple-stage process. First of all, you have to give a written exam. After that, you have to be available for presentation, and then there is an interview panel which is full of very old age professors who are very experienced in their respective fields, and most of them are from IITs and DTU, NSIT, etc. So you have to be calm and composed during the process. So during this transition time, I learned that I was very strong, because I had my family which was backing me throughout. So I learned that, yeah, because these are the testing times. These are times in which you have to sacrifice a lot, because you are already having a good job, and with that you are preparing for something else also. So it's not very easy, because you want to be in comfort of your job. You are working like 12 to 14 hours a day on your job, and after that you have to make time for your studies also, and for the process which is quite rigorous. So that's the thing I learned, that if you want something, then go get that thing, period.
Okay, so now what is your vision for future?
Actually, my vision for future is quite clear now. First of all, this is the job which I have got, which is a teaching job. It is basically a teaching cum research kind of job. So the first thing I will be doing is to pursue my PhD further in electronics field only. After that, I may go for postdoctoral from India or abroad. So that's a plan for future. But mainly it's a teaching cum research job. So I will be mainly doing research and teaching electronics field only. I also have a vision to write a book which will be exclusively for electronics only. So yeah, these are the things which I am looking for.
Okay, so now coming back to the dream of EC students, Qualcomm. So what is the potential of growth in Qualcomm, and what was your overall experience over there? So this is my first question for Qualcomm basically.
So yeah, let's start from the beginning. So I got placed on 25th July 2018. Yeah. So Qualcomm was the first company to visit our campus, and whenever a company visit on its first day, then there is a whole college waiting for it, because there are like 500 plus students who are eligible to sit for that company, and that company was in category of dream company. So DTU is a place where bunch of engineers, bunch of countries' premium engineers are there, because it's considered one of the prestigious colleges in India. So in that college, you have to be the best to crack such company which is coming on its first day, because they are not here to compromise with the quality, because they are getting top engineers. Okay, and in the top engineers, you have to be in top 5%. So that's about the selection process. So after joining Qualcomm, actually we were given first the 6 months internship period, which was from January to June, July, roughly 2019. So in the internship period, actually there was no as such project going on. We were not doing actually work on live project. We were just given things to learn, to just hone our skills. So I would say it was not much of a pressure, or it was not much of a learning, as in like hands-on learning was not there. So it was mainly just learning some scripting languages like TCL and Perl, and just honing your skills and just learning electronics concepts deeply. So internship period was, you can say, quite chill for me. I was in Bangalore in internship period. So my full-time job in Qualcomm started from July afterwards, and I was serving for Qualcomm Noida from July afterwards till last month. So this was the full-time experience. So the main thing which I learned in full-time, that once you are a full-time employee of any company, then you are responsible for many projects. You are not a part of one project. If your manager wants, then you can be part of multiple projects. So you are responsible for all of that. So the first thing I learned after getting into Qualcomm, that it is not related to electronics at all. Trust me, because it's a different world. You are not working on transistor level. You are mainly working on block level. So you are not able to see transistors. You are not able to see the wires. You are just able to see blocks. And mainly you have to have the knowledge of Unix. You have to have the knowledge of programming languages. You have to have knowledge of scripting. So these are the main tools which help you excel in your corporate field. It's not the electronics concepts anymore. So whatever you have learned in your college, it's not related. So that was like a quick slap on my face that it's not something which I was looking for, because I have like given my 6 years in learning the electronics concepts and giving into deep of that. And the whole interview process, because the whole interview process, they ask you about concepts only, like electronic concept, VLSI concepts, sometimes signaling processing concepts also. And when you enter a corporate giant like Qualcomm, it's nothing like that. So I would say I was a bit surprised.
What are the different profiles offered over there, and what is the average package or salary for different profiles? So profile wise, you need to tell me the salary and package.
Now, if we talk about the profiles, see, if you talk about the tier 2 colleges, which are like DTU, NSIT, triple ITs, I would consider only IITs and ISC as my tier 1 college. So in tier 2 colleges, Qualcomm does not come for different profiles. It mainly comes for only hardware and software. So this is the only difference which it comes when it visits your college. But in IITs and triple IITs and ISC, I would say, or not even triple IITs, only in ISC and IITs, it go for different branches, even in hardware domain. So only then you can choose between profiles in hardware domain only. So if I talk about DTU, then we were not actually given any choice of profile. There is a common interview for everybody who has applied for hardware profile. So you are given, I would say you are given randomly. They don't actually check in which domain you are interested in hardware. So like a person who is actually interested in physical domain would be given something like system performance team or design verification. So it's all depends on the availability in that particular team. So according to their vacancies, they put the students in that respective team. So you can't really say that you can't really select a profile in hardware domain. So yeah, that's about profiles. Actually, I got placed from DTU. So the package, I would say the CTC which was offered in DTU was roughly around 80 lakhs per annum. In IITs and ISC, that goes higher up to 30 lakhs per annum for analog and R&D profiles. But there are not many students who make it up to ISC. So I would say in general you can say Qualcomm offers 18 lakhs per annum to MTech students and 15 lakhs per annum to BTech students.
What are the various locations for joining?
So for the software profile, Qualcomm has two centers mainly, which is in Hyderabad and Bangalore. But for the hardware profiles, it has, you can say, three centers, which is in one is in Bangalore, one is in Chennai, and one is in Noida. So firstly, I was given Qualcomm Bangalore for internship, but then I requested them to shift me to Noida. So yeah, for the full time, I was serving in Qualcomm Noida.
Okay, so next question is, what is the procedure followed by Qualcomm in campus placements? Because most of the students here are looking for campus placement, so I want to know about it.
Well, the procedure which is followed by Qualcomm is actually quite similar to all other big companies. First of all, there is an you can say resume shortlisting. So they basically shortlist you on the basis of the percentage which you have got in your curriculum. So mainly 70% cap is there. So after that, they conduct a written exam. The students who qualify written exam further go for interviews, and there are mainly 3 interviews. Out of them, 2 are mainly technical and 1 is HR interview.
So the next question is about pre-placement talk. There is a pre-placement talk scheduled in every campus placement. So the question is, the student should ask any question during the pre-placement talk, and if yes, what kind of question should he ask?
Actually, in my time, there was no pre-placement talk which was conducted by Qualcomm. But yeah, I would suggest that if there is a pre-placement talk conducted by any company, then students should ask questions, because if by any chance you get into the interview panel of that particular person, then he would remember your face, and then you have an edge over others. So it would definitely help you to give your interview an edge over others. So yes, in pre-placement talk you should be active.
Okay, so the next question is about the written exam. How to prepare for it?
So I will be talking mainly about the hardware profile of Qualcomm. So for the written test, basically there are the 3 sections which they ask. One is obviously the electronics part, second is the C part, and third is the aptitude part. So for the aptitude part, you can do any general aptitude book, like or you may go up to CAT level 1 only, because level 2 and level 3 are actually a bit difficult, so that's not required. But you can do from RS Agarwal or Arun Sharma part level 1 questions only. So that's that for the aptitude. For the C, you can just go through Google and you can just see the basic questions and the basic concepts of C. You don't have to go to data structures level, so just limit yourself to max pointers arrays. So there is a basic thing which they ask in C. Now if we come to electronics part, then there is basically digital electronics and analog electronics they ask. So their main focus is actually in digital electronics, because that's the main profile in which they offer. For analog electronics, you can do gate level syllabus, and for the digital electronics too, I would suggest to do the gate level syllabus only. So yeah, if you do these 3 sections, then you are through, because they don't actually eliminate many people on written test. 90% people clear the written test very easily, so there is not much you have to do for the written test. But if you take care of these 3 things, then you are good to go.
Okay, the next question is, as soon as candidate enters the interview room, what does the interviewer look into him?
Now coming to the interviews, first of all, the confidence is the key. This is the only thing, because knowledge can be 90 or 20 in somebody. They are not actually, because interview are not a 5-day process. It's a 1-hour process. So you cannot judge a person on his knowledge, because they cannot ask every question. So they will ask like 5 questions. But there is a possibility that 95 questions, but you don't know those 5 questions. So they can't actually judge you on that. So the main thing which they look for in a candidate is, first of all, the approach. Like, you should have a logical approach to every question they ask. They will also drop hints. So you should have the logical ability to gain those hints and further build on those hints. So that's that. First of all, you should be very confident in an interview. First of all, when you go, don't be nervous. First of all, greet them with a smile on your face. Like, if it's morning, then just say good morning and how are you. Just ask them how are they. So yeah, these things show that you're very comfortable, and then your interview goes in a very like sailing manner, I would say.
Okay, so now what are the different subjects or topics that a student should prepare for an interview of Qualcomm?
Now, if we talk about the hardware profile again, because I am from the hardware profile, so the subjects which you can prepare for interview for a hardware profile, basically just make a note that if you are focusing for the hardware profile, then just do digital electronics, which is of gate level. Do it through and through. You should have the 360-degree knowledge of the digital electronics. It is the must. For VLSI students, I am talking. It is the must. After that, you can go for subjects like VLSI, static timing analysis, and you can go for book like Kang. You can go for book like Rebe, but that's only after when you cover. You have to have the complete knowledge of digital circuits and digital systems. So that's the must. That's the prerequisite. Because it is a possibility that you can crack all the interviews on the knowledge of only digital circuits and system. But even if you have the higher knowledge, but if your base is not clear, then they won't be interested in you.
Okay, the next question is whether the interviewer asks about the training or the projects done by the student, and if yes, what kind of training or projects a student should prefer.
So if we talk about the projects, then if you are aiming for only hardware profile, then you should be doing projects relevant to that only. And even if you are doing internships, then try to do your internships around that area only. Don't go for internship just for the sake of internship, because if you are saying that you have done an internship in a particular domain, then they want the complete knowledge of it. So I won't say just have 10 projects or 12 internships. Just have one internship and one project, but you should have the 360-degree knowledge of that thing. So that's the confidence they are saying, that you are not doing everything just for the sake of building a resume. You should do that thing because you were completely into that.
Okay, so panel interview is there or not?
For the Qualcomm, actually panel interview is not there. So there is only one-to-one interview, but there are many panels, so you won't be facing a couple of interviewers around you. So you will be just giving one-to-one interview, and there will be a couple of interviews, I would say. And in HR interview, they don't ask much. HR interview, they just see the communication skills. And 90%, or I should say 99% of the times, HR interview is not eliminatory in nature, because in a core company or in technical companies, they are not actually looking for the people to have the great communication skills, but they are looking to have the great technical knowledge and with mediocre communication skills, I would say. So if you are through 2 interviews of technical, then I don't think you will be facing any difficulty in HR interview for a company like Qualcomm.
So the next question is, can the interviewer reject a student who has very good academic record?
Now coming to the students who have an excellent academic record, let me tell you one thing, you have to screw really badly to reject yourself. You already have an edge. So if you have an excellent academic record, just build on that, just have that opportunity and just crack the interview, because you are already in lead. So don't screw up interviews, just be confident, and be confident about your preparation, be confident about your marks, be confident about the profile you have made in the past 4 years or in past 2 years for MTech students. So it's really difficult for an interviewer to reject a candidate with excellent academic score until unless he screws up really badly, until unless he's a, you can say if it's a bookworm, if he's a bookworm, then they get to know that this person has just been into books all his life and he has zero practical knowledge and zero exposure to the outer things. So only then they can reject. But ultimately, this is not the case generally. So if you have a good academic score like 80% plus, then just you need to be confident and just nail it.
Okay, so this is the last question for the day. So the question is, what does a first year or second year student should do to enhance his employability skills according to you?
For the first year and second year students, I would like to give advice that if you are in first year of BTech or in first year of MTech, then you should be focusing mainly on the basics which are taught in your engineering class. So mainly just focus on analog, EDC and digital electronic subjects. Just make sure that you have the best marks in these subjects, because in interview then you can claim that in these main subjects which you are giving interview, you have the best marks in your college. So this is the advice, and just try to learn as many things as possible. So, but this was about the basic things. But this was about for a student who has just 1 month or 2 months left for interview. But if you have like 1 year or 2 year for the placements, then try to acquire as many skills as possible. Try to learn the scripting languages like TCL, Perl, and try to have a hands-on Unix also, because in many engineering colleges like DTU and NSIT, they don't really teach you how to work on Unix environment. They're like, even now I see that there is all the work which goes on Windows only, even in labs, but in industry it's like completely different. So if you have those your skills on your resume, then it will be an edge for you. And interviewer will also see that you have done something extraordinary other than your fellow mates who are giving the interview. So that was it. Thank you.
So thank you, Lokesh, for giving us your time, for enlightening us with your knowledge. So I think a lot of students will get benefited. Thank you so much.